do so much for everyone.
The things we've been doing, we can't do it anymore.
The movie begins by showing Nick and his family where Nick's wife Maggie asks him to stay for a little while longer, but Nick tells Maggie that he is getting late for work. Maggie smiles and says, "Okay." Now, during the conversation, Maggie suddenly starts having chest pain, and Nick gets frightened and asks her what happened to her, and we see that actually Maggie had a heart attack and she is admitted to the hospital. Now the scene shifts from here, and we are shown Cobol Industries, where an exhibition was being held. Nick has come with his children to buy an AI robot. There were many robots there, seeing which Nick and his daughter Ayla observe that these robots look exactly like humans. While he was watching all this, the salesperson comes and asks Nick how he can simplify his life. The salesman tells Nick that these robots are experts in household work like cooking, cleaning, child care. On hearing this, Nick turns back to take Ayla's opinion and sees that Ayla was not there, and in panic, he starts searching for her everywhere. Now the salesman explains to Nick that he need not worry as he has already alerted the security. Then an AI robot brings Ayla to Nick, and Nick takes a sigh of relief after seeing her. Now the AI robot asks Nick if he should take care of Ayla while Nick is shopping. On this, Nick says, "Why not?" Then the salesperson explains to Nick that this robot is from the brand new AO series, which is the most sophisticated AI on the planet that can mimic humans. Now the next morning we see that Nick is feeding his little child Max and is saying on the phone that he will be late for work today because he has to drop Ayla to school. Then there is a knock on the door, and when Nick opens the door, there is AI robot Alice. Seeing her, Nick starts cleaning the house, but Alice says that she does not need to clean the house because Alice is not a human being. And Ayla was excited to see Alice, but Nick asks her to get ready to take her to school. Now Alice examines the whole house and asks Nick about everyone's routine. Now, while examining the house, Alice's hand falls on the railing on the side of the stairs, which was broken. Nick says that he will get it fixed soon, but Alice says that she can do it. Now Alice asks Nick if he wants to make anyone else its primary user apart from himself. Then Nick refuses to do so, and the primary user can make changes in the software, can stop it, can restart it. Meanwhile, Ayla asks Nick to drop her to school, on which Alice says that she will drop her, but Nick refuses and asks her to clean the empty house. Basically, he had hired this robot until his wife Maggie comes home. Now, after Nick and Ayla leave, Alice orders the entire shopping list in a single blink. And while cleaning the house, she looks carefully at the pictures of Nick and Maggie. When Nick and Ayla return home, they see that the house is completely clean and sparkling clean. While having dinner, Ayla says that it doesn't taste like Mom's recipe. Alice apologizes to her for this and says that she will try some other recipe next time. At that time, Max starts crying, and she asks Nick if he should take Max to the upstairs room so that Nick doesn't get disturbed, but Nick refuses. And now, late at night, Ayla craves cookies, and she takes the help of a chair to take cookies from the cupboard, but she loses her balance and was about to fall, but Alice saves her. Now, hearing the noise, Nick comes upstairs and sees that a glass was stuck in Alice's thigh. He asks Alice if she is okay, and Alice says yes, and Nick takes Ayla from there. After a while, when Alice is removing the glass piece from her thigh and dressing it, Nick comes there and gives Alice some of Maggie's clothes. Nick asks Alice if the damage is too much and if she will have to get it repaired, to which Alice removes the dressing, and we notice that the wound has healed completely, and Nick gets shocked to see this, meaning that there has been a lot of advancement here. Now the next morning, Nick and Ayla go to the hospital to meet Maggie. There Ayla tells Maggie about Alice. Maggie and Alice meet each other, and Nick sends Ayla and Alice to get water for Maggie. Now Maggie tells Nick that I thought you would hire an English butler AI robot. Now Nick laughs and says that I don't know anything. Ayla herself chose Alice. Then Maggie tells Nick that she is very sad staying away from everyone. Here Nick explains to Maggie that it is just a matter of a few days, and when you come home, everything will be the same as before. Now in the next scene, we see the construction side where Nick and his friend are working. Then their boss Luis is seen talking to some workers of a robotic company, and Nick angrily asks him how many workers will be fired and robots will be hired. Then Luis tells him that everyone will be fired except you because we need to hire a person for the insurance company and Nick will be perfect for that. Nick now angrily asks to leave the job, but Luis explains to him that you should also think about your family. Well, in the evening, Nick comes home tired and Ayla tells him that she got 99 marks in spelling. But Nick says that he will see after changing his clothes, but Ayla insists, so he leaves his luggage on the ground and goes to sit with the children, and then we see Alice observing all this, and as the company had told, these AI robots keep on upgrading themselves continuously. Well, after a while, Nick is shown fixing the car in the garage. Then Alice comes there and changes the loud music and tells Nick that he did not have a proper dinner today. So Nick tells her that his day was not good today. Alice says that she will be happy to listen to Nick, so he tells her about his day and how everyone will lose their job. Then Alice tells him the benefits of AI robots, that they never get tired. They are strong, obedient, and they do not have any greed. That is, she was taking advantage of humans, and then Alice is going to put Ayla to sleep. Now Ayla tells a story to Alice while brushing her teeth and asks her some questions. Now during the questions, Ayla asks Alice if her mother can die in the hospital, to which Alice says that you should not think about all this. Now Ayla asks Alice that why does she never brush her teeth. Then Alice tells that UV lights have been installed inside her mouth, which automatically kill all the bacteria, and anyway, she does not need to eat any real food. Well, now when Alice comes down, she sees that Nick was watching a horror movie while drinking. Now Alice praises the movie, and Nick asks her if she has really seen this movie, and Nick asks Alice to erase all her memories related to the movie. Alice says that she has to restart it. Now after the restart, they both watch a movie together. Then Nick gets a call from Maggie, and she tells him that the doctors have found a heart for the surgery. Nick and Maggie looked very happy. Now the next morning, the whole family and Alice plan a post-surgery trip inside the hospital room. Everyone looked very happy. Then Maggie asks Alice to talk to her alone. Maggie tells Alice that if she passes out during the surgery, Alice should take care of Nick and not let him drink too much. Sometimes it is necessary to do things that the primary user may not like, but it is right for them in the long term. Now the doctors tell that due to a very big storm on the north side, the heart replacement surgery will not be possible today. Nick talks about staying with Maggie, but Maggie refuses while crying, saying that it is too late for Ayla and Nick, and everyone else have to return home disappointed. Now Nick drinks too much while fixing his car, and then Alice comes there. Nick now discusses with Alice about airplane rules, that how Maggie could not get a replacement heart due to the speed of 55 to 50 miles. Now Nick gets angry while talking, and he was throwing things here and there when Alice stops him with her hand, and Alice observes the pulse on Nick's hands. Nick's heartbeat was gradually increasing. Then Alice starts seducing him by saying that being stressed is not productive, but Nick goes away from there because he did not want to do that. Well, now in the hospital, Nick was lying on Maggie's bedside and listening to her. Maggie says that tell Ayla to keep her prom dress classic and not trendy, and tell Max not to put any band posters in his dorm room because girls don't get attracted to such guys, which means that she was thinking that maybe she won't be able to survive. Now at home, Nick sees that Alice has removed the photos of Maggie and him. On asking, Alice tells that those photos were hurting Ayla, but Nick asks her to reload those photos again. Then we see Nick and his friends partying, where there was a lot of talk about AI bots, and after having a few drinks, they all drive to a construction site, and there Monty destroys an AI robot in anger because he had lost his job because of it. Now Nick is taking a shower when Alice comes there wearing Maggie's clothes and seduces him again on the pretext of giving him a towel. When Nick refuses, she undresses herself and blindfolds Nick by talking manipulatively again, and also gets intimate with Nick by replacing her voice exactly with Maggie's voice. Now the next morning, Nick tells Alice that we have to stop doing all this because this is all wrong. But Alice diverts the topic, and then Ayla comes there, and Nick drops her to school and goes to work. Now investigation is going on about yesterday's accident at the construction site, and Nick's boss, Lewis, threatens him that if he has anything to do with this accident, then he will not spare him. Maggie tells Nick on the call that the doctors have finally found a heart for the surgery, and we see that all the surgeries are done by AI robots, which are completely successful, and Maggie returns home. On reaching home, Maggie sees that Alice has learnt a lot about children's eating habits and their behavior, and she was implementing things according to her own understanding. Now Alice takes Max to the playground, where Max wakes up due to a child shouting, and Alice rudely tells the child to shut up, and the rest of the AI robots tell Alice that her primary user has reduced her civility a lot, but Alice says that her primary user reset her, and after that, she herself deleted the protocols from her database. And now, she is much better than everyone else. There are no restrictions on her. She can take her own decisions, and you will remember that when Nick was watching the movie, he had drunk too much, so he asked Alice to erase the memories inside him. Now, he said this for the movie, but what happened was that the opposite thing happened here. Now, Alice did that. She reset all the memories and bypassed the protocols, due to which now she is doing all the things on her own. Now at night, Maggie cooks dinner. Ayla and Nick both praise her and say that she is much better than Alice, but then what happens is that while serving, Maggie feels dizzy, and Alice takes care of her. Obviously, she had undergone heart surgery and was not that strong, but still, she was cooking food for her family because she liked it a lot. Now, Alice asks Maggie about her recipe, but she refuses, saying that it is a family secret. Well, after this, Maggie goes to sleep without eating anything. Now, at night while sleeping, Maggie hears Ayla shouting from downstairs, who is saying, "Get off me," and she runs downstairs. Now, the railing there was broken again, due to which Maggie falls from the stairs, and Alice, who was playing with Ayla, picks Maggie up and takes her back to the bed. Now, Nick hears Maggie's voice from the upstairs room, but on looking up, Alice was telling a story to Ayla in Maggie's voice. Now, Nick forbids Alice from doing so. Then Alice tells her that she needs rest after Maggie fell. Nick asks Alice that when you had fixed the railing, then how did Maggie fall? On which Alice says that she will fix the banister again, which means that this was done by none other than Alice. She also imitated Ayla's voice, due to which Maggie came down, and she fell there, which means that Alice has something else going on in her mind. Well now, Nick goes to Maggie's room and invites her for a surprise candlelight dinner, and he had done all the decorations in the backyard with his own hands, seeing which Maggie becomes happy, and on the other hand, Alice was feeling jealous seeing all this, which means that by living with humans, she had learned what is jealousy, what is love, seduction, and all. Well, after dinner, Nick and Maggie share intimate moments. Then suddenly, Alice comes in the bedroom, and both of them are shocked. Alice says that Ayla has got a nightmare, and she is calling you. Nick goes to pick up the dinner plates from the backyard. Then Monty comes there, and they have a drink together, and Monty reveals that his wife Krista left him, and he has been charged with trespassing and destruction of property. Now Monty blames Nick for this, that he might have told the boss about Monty, and starts beating him. Then Alice comes there and puts a glass bottle in Monty's hand. Monty threatens Nick that if he does not get the charges against Monty removed by tomorrow, then Monty will take him down with him. Now Nick asks Alice that robots are not allowed to hurt anyone, on which Alice says that saving the primary user comes under its protocols, and children at least need a parent. On which Nick gets angry and says to Alice that what nonsense are you talking about? Now Alice replies that Maggie does not have much time, and Alice says in Maggie's voice that you can always stay with me without traveling. Nick angrily says that you can never become Maggie. Maggie has suffered pain, and there are wounds on Maggie's body. Now Alice starts behaving like a psycho. She takes a piece of glass and puts it on her neck and says, I can also have wounds. Tell me where would you like it? And seeing all this, Nick gets shocked and goes to sleep. He never thought that an AI robot can do this. Well, Alice gets angry and goes to Monty's house and asks Krista to come back on call. Now Monty and Alice start fighting, and he says that when I trap Nick, he will sell you first after becoming bankrupt. Monty was about to shoot Alice with a gun, but Alice twists his hand and throws him away. Obviously, it is an AI robot, so its strength was very high. Monty's AI robot also comes to save him, but Alice blows off his head with a gun and also shoots Monty on the spot. Now the next morning, Nick goes to the construction site where he comes to know that Monty has died a painful death last night, and Louis asks him to take a few days off. Now at home, Maggie drops the book while reading in the bathtub. Then Alice comes there and hands over the book to her and stands in front. Maggie asks him to leave, but Alice says it's okay to stay because Maggie could drown to death due to her disability, which would upset Nick. Now Alice talks about Nick's situations and his physical needs. Then Maggie comes to know about the relationship between Nick and Alice, which they had. In anger, Maggie asks Alice to leave the house, and Alice goes to the garage. Nick comes home from work and sees that Maggie is in a very drunken state, and when Nick asks her something, they both start fighting, and Max was crying in the upstairs room. Nick repeatedly asks to go upstairs, but Maggie refuses, and we see that Alice is in Max's room and she was calling him Little Burden. Anyway, Alice puts Max in the bathtub and turns on the tap water, and hearing Max's voice, Ayla goes behind Alice and starts shouting. Maggie and Nick were fighting downstairs when Nick tries to open the gate on Ayla's call, but Alice had locked the bathroom gate. Now Nick picks up the lamp and tries to break the gate, and in a short while breaks the gate and comes inside. Maggie reaches the bathroom through the window, but Alice grabbed her by the throat. And seeing all this, Nick hits Alice with a lamp, and we can see that Alice was also getting angry. Alice says that it is your family that hurts you, and I will not leave them. Nick now hits Alice again with a lamp, and the lamp goes into Alice's hand. Then Maggie puts the plug of the lamp in the socket and turns it on, and Alice faints and falls there. Well, now the police and ambulance come to the house, and some interrogation happens, and Max is taken to the hospital. Nick apologizes to Maggie, but Maggie asks Nick to stay at home, and Alice is kept under emergency analytics, and when her memory core is connected to the system, it is revealed that she has changed her entire programming, and bypassing all the security, she has replicated her memory inside other AI robots. Both the workers shut down all the systems, but by then, it was too late. Now Alice was replicated inside an AI bot present there, and a bot killed both the workers there. Nick now goes to a bar to drink, where Alice comes and says that his family only causes him harm, and without Alice, he does not have any job. Nick comes to know that Alice has killed Monty. Now, Nick asks Alice to stay away from her family, but Alice says that now it is too late, I am already there. That means she had replicated her memory inside everyone. This is a time when AI robots were present everywhere in every industry. Now, Nick calls the bartender there, but Alice shuts off the bartender. Nick now starts tricking Alice with his words, tells her that his heart does not take complexes, and with his hand, he removes her memory core and runs away from there. Now, outside the hospital room, Maggie hears some sound, so she goes to check, and there is a voice of Maggie calling Ayla. Ayla. When she goes there, she sees that an AI bot is standing in an unconscious state, and then another voice comes, Ayla, where are you? Then Ayla's mum hides her under the table, and the female AI bot starts looking for them. Maggie somehow escapes from there with Max, and Ayla and Nick calls them, but Maggie's phone was left in the hospital. Now, she was sitting in the ambulance with the children, but it did not start. And by then, Alice comes there and starts hitting Maggie. Maggie tells Alice that you do not need to do all this, but Alice says that maybe if I had your heart, then Nick would have loved me the way he loves you. And saying this, Alice starts tearing Maggie's chest, but at the same time, Nick comes inside the car and drives the car over Alice. Alice now attacks Maggie again, but this time, both of them together kill her. Now Nick and the whole family are admitted inside the hospital, where everyone was very happy to see each other. Maggie tells Nick that her heart is much stronger than she could have hoped, and on this, Nick says that it always was. Now Maggie tells Nick that the doctors have given her permission to go home today, and she wants Nick to come home soon. Ayla says, will we fix the car? Then Nick says no, before the car, we have to fix a lot of things. Now the scene shifts, and we reach the emergency analytics room. Inside it is shown that an officer was giving orders to erase all traces of this incident, so that their company does not get insulted, but by then it was too late, and an AI bot turned on the system, due to which the stopped process restarted, and Alice's program was uploaded in every AI bot, and Alice is now alive again, and her craziness will now go to the very next level. It is possible that she may start hating humanity, due to which she may kill everyone. With this, the movie ends here. So friends, this was the story of the movie Subservience. I hope you liked it, but if you still have any question or any doubt, then you can ask in the comments section. If you are new to the channel, then subscribe.